Welcome to GOLT Talk, your podcast for technology and innovation in the legal profession. If you're searching for solutions to revolutionize your legal practice, you're in the right place. 10 minutes pure, actionable product insights from CEOs shaping the future of legal technology. And here is your host, Tom Pfennig.
Welcome to GOLT Talk, your podcast for innovation and technology in the compliance and legal space. 10 minutes, pure actionable insights from CEOs shaping the world of legal and compliance technology. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Todd R. Smith, founder and CEO of KYG Trade, located in Newport Beach, California, to today's episode of the GOLT Talk. Welcome to this podcast, Todd.
Well, thank you, Tom. Nice to be here.
Likewise. You have built a very, very interesting platform, which we would like to introduce to our viewers today. But before we get there, please tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to build KYG Trade.
Yeah, no, thank you. So I'm a licensed customs broker in the United States, and I worked for KPMG and Ernst & Young as a partner in the trade and customs practice. Each of the big four have trade and customs boutiques that help our Fortune 500 clients with import, export, cost savings, compliance, and automation. And what got me to leave the big four was an early retirement opportunity around the time of the pandemic, and just a total frustration, quite frankly, as a practitioner, watching our clients just struggle to get the information that we as advisors needed to do our work. You can't advise your clients on products and compliance unless you have information about those products. And I saw our clients struggle time and time again, just gathering the information that we needed in order to help them and give them the advice that they needed. And so I knew there could be a better way. And so the early retirement opportunity came, and I took it and started KYG Trade just over 4 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So you're not a new kid on the block in many respects. You've been in the trenches and you're building this product in a very user-centric way. So now let's really go a little bit into the details of the use cases and unique selling point. We have not really talked about trade compliance on this podcast yet. So obviously with the geopolitical challenges, this is hot for everybody. And I know there's a lot of compliance officers, chief legal officers wanting to automate and kind of discipline this vertical, this category. And this is exactly where KYG Trade kicks in. So tell us a little bit about the unique selling point, the use cases primarily, so that folks get a good sense of what you're really serving with your tool.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I think it would help frame the discussion by saying that the category of compliance software that we fall into, Gartner has, it's called Global Trade Management, or GTM. So Gartner tracks GTM software. The vendors that they follow are SAP GTS, Thomson Reuters OneSource, E2Open, Descartes with MIC. And I'm happy to say, even though we're a young company, we are now a selected vendor in that Gartner GTM category. So we're in this GTM space, and I used to help companies implement SAP GTS. Very expensive projects, oftentimes in the seven-figure range, oftentimes could span a couple of years. So we always have had technology to help automate certain processes within global trade compliance. But where those systems would break down would be like when there is an audit, a customs audit, or a container is detained, or a customer needs information about whether or not they can actually sell the product to an entity, and they need to know information about the controls around the product from a HTS standpoint or an export compliance standpoint. Is it military? Is it non-military? Is the customer or entity that you're selling to, or the country that it's being shipped to, on a restricted parties list? and how was the decision made around that information was never stored in those systems. Whenever anybody would ask the question, how did you come up with that HS code? How did you come up with that export control number? How did you determine that that product qualified for a free trade agreement? Those systems don't help. And the system du jour was emails, PDFs, and attachments and fact gathering. Who did what, when, and it's paralyzing. And I would say 65% of our time, if your audience consists of attorneys, whether they're in-house or external, it's expensive time wasted gathering that information. And I think everybody would nod their head and say, yeah, 65% of the time on this project was just spent getting information. So the platform that I wanted to design was to help streamline the gathering of information from multiple sources, whether it's internal ERP, product lifecycle management system, marketing information, or external from suppliers. The ability to ingest lots of disparate information, structured, unstructured information, I use a technical word, munge it together into what I call a product genome. And we have a patent on this now, an issued patent. And once we have this genome, which again, you don't have to categorize, you don't have to label, you just drag and drop, information gets consolidated. And now we use AI agents to learn about the product, figure out where it's going or where it's coming into. And then our agents look at the regulations. And there's a recursive process of looking at the regulations. The regulations need information. I need to know watts. I need to know voltage. I need to know encryption. It goes back to the genome to find that information. If it can't find it, it tells the user you're missing this, and it'll even help you go try to find the information. So it just streamlines the whole process. And it's helping knowledge workers essentially get their job done 75, 80% faster. I'm not here as the CEO saying it's 100%. There is a magic bullet in this, but it's pretty good. I would say it's as good. I don't want to offend anybody, but it's as good as an associate manager, associate attorney, senior manager level, working to get that first draft of finding that you give to the partner for review before it goes to the client, before it goes to the government. It's about 80, it gets you about 80, 85, in some cases 100%, but not all the time there. I mean, you never just want to push a button, take the answer and run on day one. But as you get used to how it works, as our AI agents get more knowledgeable about your own fact patterns, you get comfortable that the outcome is reliable, and then you start to let the system auto-complete some of these determinations. So it really is, we have empirical data that is showing our clients are saving 75, 80%, sometimes 90% of the effort is being done automatically.
It's the perfect use case for technology in many ways. I think as you describe it, a lot of companies have no consolidated data lake on several subjects, be it third-party risk management, be it data privacy risks, be it trade compliance risks. So the first step, what you're doing, in essence, it's a knowledge capturing tool as well, is really bringing the unstructured information / data of an organization onto one platform so that there's really some structure and order in place when it comes to determining the trade exposure from the tariffs and duties side versus actually doing this over and over again year over year with new SKUs and new products. So that's the first step. But once the data is on your tool, just to also repeat what I'm hearing and kind of make it a little bit digestible for those who are not in this space, then your algorithm, your patent, is structuring, is extracting data points that educate a trade compliance officer, a CFO, of the cost of goods, of the tariff exposures, certain variations depending upon supply chain changes. So this is then really all music to the ears of those who want to get rid of the chaos, let's just put it this way, and really have a structured, dependable framework in place.
You said it very well. So I want to mention that with each product, I use the word product genome because each product really has a history and is unique. It's unique when it comes off of the production line, because even when you're producing a product, you could have different sources of components that could change the regulatory results and outcomes on forced labor, a host of ESG issues in product compliance, RoHS, Prop 65. Just picking a component out of a different bin on the factory floor could change, the genomic characterization of a product. So you can't fix a data structure universally. So each product takes on its own genome, its own data structure, and we call it a canonical genome, because when we make the determination, we're creating a determination based on a snapshot in time of what existed at that moment when the product shipped, right? And so tomorrow, the same SKU may come across and have literally a different genome to it.
Yes.
So that's what we're really good at. We're good at listening and monitoring and getting signals from bill of material systems that are tracking shipment level BOMs, not just engineering BOMs. So we have API integrations into PLMs. PLM is a product lifecycle management system. So these are Siemens has Team Center. There's PTC Windchill. These are where the engineers are designing the bill of materials. And then you go from an engineering BOM to a manufacturing BOM to a shipment BOM, like what actually came out. These are critical, to knowing whether or not your product has X or Y encryption, or if the supplier of a component, a chip, was China or Taiwan, which could change the country of origin, of the product. So that's the level that we're at. But even if you're in an environment where you'll never have that type of real-time connections, we can take it from a PDF. Like, just send us, what the components were in an Excel sheet or a PDF. I know I'm talking email and attachments now, but you don't have to transpose. It gets ingested into our system, and then we take it from there.
Okay, cool. I think moving on to friends, frenemies, competitors, you already alluded to a few, GTS being one. So maybe we stay there for a little while. You have the API integrations. Give us a little bit of detail, please. I'm sure that you're plugged into all the IT infrastructures, but just to reconfirm it to the audience, that would be great.
We're ISO 27001. So I like to say we're enterprise grade AI assisted compliance around products, importing and exporting, forced labor, free trade agreements, export controls. And our clients, we've landed some very significant, Fortune 50 level, some of the largest companies in the world, even though we're young. And we have, probably 60, 70 million, what I call attestations. These are regulatory determinations that link to a particular product genome on our platform already. That's how fast we're moving. And so our clients have been asking us to do more. And so we've actually evolved from being this single source of truth around the regulatory attestations that link to a product for any country in the world to a full-fledged global trade management platform. So now we do compete with SAP GTS, but we don't have to replace any of these systems. We can extend or enhance the capabilities of these systems using our APIs, or you can use us standalone. Lawyers, individual solo practitioners, as well as some of the most well-known law firms in this space as customers. And there's no API integrations. They log in, they upload, download, and then go to work. I'm sure someone on this in your audience knows that SAP GTS has a non-HANA version. This is like the legacy version, and they've stopped supporting it as of the end of this year. So there's like 3,000 companies. I'm not smiling because I don't get pleasure out of other people's woes, but they're forcing 3,000 customers to upgrade to the HANA version of GTS. And there's a lot of our customers are coming and saying we don't want to do that, and we'd rather go to an all-in-one solution that has out-of-the-box capability, content. We have all the screening lists, we have all the regulation, constantly updating when the next tweak comes out and there's a new requirement, a new Section 232 tariff or a reciprocal, we're on it.
So you're really enterprise IT agnostic, to use the term again, whether it's Oracle, ServiceNow, Salesforce, whomever, you're not tied to a specific infrastructure, really.
That's correct. But our competitors, really so from a GTM standpoint, yes. I mean, you would say Thomson Reuters would be a competitor now, E2Open, which is now WiseTech, GTS, but we're like a next generation of GTM that also handles tariffs and trade. We have all the duty rates. So we're like a next generation GTM on that side. And then on the side of being the system that's the single source of truth with the product genome and the regulations and figuring out what criteria and requirements attached to my products, there's no system out there that's doing it other than emails, PDFs, and attachments the old-fashioned way. We do have like HS classification. We're using AI, and for export classification in the US, you have to go through what's known as an order of review to determine if your product is ITAR military or not. We're using AI for all of that. So you do have companies that are coming out with their solution to do one or two things. We have a platform that accommodates all. And I have to say this, we're very open to any solution that is out there we can plug into and have on our platform. So this is important. We're global, but I know as a consultant for the Big Four that there are so many nuances, and you know this, there are so many nuances that are different from country to country. There can never be one smart system that knows all of those nuances. So we've designed the system to be modular with almost like apps. Like if you think of, I don't mean to be too simplistic here, but if you think about, I want to go to an app store and get an app that helps me import a shoe into Brazil, we may not have all of the nuance built into our system. So we can allow apps, that are specialized for a specific fat pattern come into our universe and guarantee the enterprise security and the workflow and the orchestration and the record keeping. And so it's really an open solution. We're not trying to lock you into our AI, our decisioning, and you have to use ours. No, it's very open and extensible from that standpoint.
Sounds really, really amazing. HS, just to not forget this, what does this stand for?
Tariff, the harmonized system. This is the harmonized tariff schedule. All countries that are members of the WTO subscribe to a harmonized tariff classification system. And that's what that is. That's what an HS code is.
Very interesting. Moving on, we're spending a little bit more time than usually, but this is really, I think, extremely important to the lawyers and compliance professionals, both in-house and in the law firms of this world. So let's go into the implementation time and also the pricing as the final part of the podcast. You said it's really a cloud service, so you don't need to come to a client and have a large scale implementation of your solution. People log in and boom, basically the system is at work. Please give us a little bit of estimate. Nevertheless, I mean, the juice is really in the document collection. I'm sure this is the fuel that runs your engine, but what is an around time frame estimate for the go live of KYG Trade?
I alluded to it earlier. So we are designed as a SaaS, a software as a service, where just like any other web-based application, a user can subscribe, get logged in, and we can literally have you with a login, and one of our customers who has training in this domain will walk you through and help get you set up, upload your products and show you how to start using the system within 1 or 2 days. Okay. So an individual user can have this same access to the same AI and workflows that our largest enterprises have. That's how we've designed it. And our pricing is on our website, kygtrade.com. We have pricing there for helping companies figure out those tariff codes, those HS codes that I just mentioned, and export control classifications. That pricing is shown on our website. The entry price at the lowest level is just under, I want to say it's around it's $8 to $9 grand paid in advance or monthly per year. That's like the lowest, no API connections, get going. But then from there, it goes up from there. But for the entry price for the smaller individual users. They can have, like, I think it includes close to 30,000 products on the platform for any country. But then from there, you know, to the larger enterprises, it goes up into the six-figure, you know, maybe seven-figure range. And for those implementations, again, it just depends on the complexity, how many countries, how many products. It could be anywhere from 1 month to, so far, the longest one that we've had for a company that had over 4 million products and needed 40 countries supported. It took us just under 8 months to get that implemented with 20 API integrations into their internal SAP and other systems.
Outstanding. One thing you mentioned, you also have lawyers and other professionals on staff. And I've been to conferences like you see some of the big four names popping up in this space. So beyond the technology, would you also be able to offer subject matter expertise?
We do. We intend to. So first of all, I mentioned we have law firms and lawyers as customers. We have the big four as a customer, as well as the OEMs, the manufacturers, the shippers themselves. Even some customs brokers are now using our platform. And so it's a pretty round number.
We could, if I was a mid-sized company really challenged with those topics and I would want to have everything under one roof rather than licensing your tool and going to a big four or going to a law firm, you could technically also serve those needs beyond the technology.
The idea is I want to help the lawyers and the consultants help their clients more efficiently, because that's what I did as a partner at KPMG. I wanted to be able to streamline the data gathering and the analysis and then the reporting out of my findings more efficiently. So the platform actually has workflows that do make that process more efficient and professional, quite frankly, with record keeping and a host of other things. So I do envision a marketplace of trade compliance, product compliance professionals on our platform where if a user needs help in Germany, for electronics versus apparel or what have you, they could find that resource that is already on our platform and knows how to get their job done more efficiently for the customer, who then may also want to come on the platform. That is where we're evolving to.
Wonderful. You'll be found on our platform, GOLT.ai as well. This is a new category that we are building out, and this podcast will be presented there along with other facts and figures. Thank you very much, Todd. This was a very insightful podcast. I have learned a lot. Thank you so much for your time. Dear viewers, Todd R. Smith, CEO and founder of KYG Trade, based in Newport Beach, California. It's been a pleasure talking to you. All the best for the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.